Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we just finished Dub 2022. Good to...
Yeehaw!
We have a new guy here. This guy's name is Nick, with the sunglasses. He's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know we were friends. Wow.
How you been, man? We haven't talked in like
A month?
a while.
I'm okay. A little hot. A little busy.
Yeah?
If y'all couldn't tell,
I bet it's
I'm not
hot.
in my studio right now. I am definitely at Starbase, which is something we've avoided. But this is a special occasion. This is important. We have Dub. We got to get our reactions out. Apple released some products I'm quite happy about, and yeah, there's some good things to talk about here. Other thing I have to say at the top of the show, I need to apologize to both Drew and Randy and all of the Tailosive Tech audience, and I need to come clean with you guys. I had to trade in my Apple Sheep card today. Unfortunately, I'm no longer worthy of my Apple Sheep card.
Why, Nick?
Why, Randy? Because Randy had to tell me that Dub was today. And before he told me, I had no idea that today was Dub.
Wow.
I know.
You do have to turn in your card.
I do have to turn it in.
That's not okay.
It isn't.
I'm the
especially given
podcast
how-
founder now. You don't get to be.
Especially how Nick-centered this event was.
Here you go.
If this was
here's my Apple card.
Thank you.
You were talked about more than Randy during this event, you know. When the
That's
when
funny.
the Alpine Green came out, everyone talked about Randy. When the M2 MacBook Pro came out, everyone was talking Nick. They were like, "That's for Nick. That's Nick's laptop right there." So
we said the same thing in the Discord.
Yeah, let's talk about hardware real quick.
fair.
Happy giggles from Nick all around. Just happy giggles. It's
Good,
kind of funny.
good.
I don't think I was on the show the past couple weeks, but the past couple weeks I've been looking at some different computer options for me and my buddy Cooper, who we've been working on some film stuff, and it's like, the M1 chips are just enough, but it would be nice with a little bit more power. So I was looking at some of the M1 Pro MacBook Pros, but they're ugly, and they have the ugly ports on the side, and they're thick, and they look weird, and no thanks. So I didn't end up getting those. I'm really glad I didn't, because the M2 chip with the MacBook Air looks pretty slick indeed. And
Really?
yeah,
You're okay with the MacBook Air?
Whoa.
it has
Even though that has MagSafe.
It has one thing that I don't like on it, and one thing that I wish it had. Touch bar it doesn't have, and it does have a MagSafe. But I feel like those two things, it's like, all right, I can compromise with those, but because like everything else is pretty solid.
Nick,
Yes,
you
Randy.
do know the other MacBook today comes with a touch bar.
I do,
Yes.
but I'm staring at that same physical body right now, and it's like, all right, am I really going to spend $2,400 to update the specs of my current physical computer? I don't know. I'm a little bored with the design. I'll admit. I'm a little bored with it, but I ain't getting no new MacBook Pro, Scott.
What?
Nope.
That was made for you.
It was.
No,
it
that-
is.
that's
It's
Nick's-
Just you.
I'm more confused than I was last year for Dub with iPadOS. What, Nick? What the heck is going on? Wait.
I don't understand.
I will say that the new MacBook Air looks really good. It looks really good.
Finally, something we agree on.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. Randy, what were your thoughts on the new MacBook Air redesign? Because I haven't heard them yet.
I am.
No midnight green.
No, it's fine. No, it doesn't need to. That I love that midnight, just regular midnight. That give me that color on a
Me
Mac,
too.
Totally, I'm totally
MacBook
getting
Pro.
Midnight is fantastic.
Beautiful.
Put that on an iPhone.
Ooh.
Wait, not the.
Well,
yeah, I know what you're thinking. Wait, let me rephrase. Put that on an iPhone Pro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm willing to say on the record I would have got my MacBook Pro at midnight if it was a color option back when it came out. It looks great.
It does.
Looks
Yeah.
just the slight blue Just a
It
little
reminds me of
blue to
slate
it. Reminds
gray.
me of the.
Yes.
Reminds me of iPad Mini 1.
iPhone 5.
It's
my
a great
favorite looking iPhone. That's my favorite colored iPhone ever. More than any green configuration was the slate black that they had going on.
And the bezels are black.
Hey, okay, so
All
congratulations,
all is right
Drew.
with the world.
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I hope somebody answered that phone because I called it. We got hardware. I said we were going to get hardware, and Drew, you doubted me. You should never doubt me, but they weren't.
We both got a lot wrong, to be fair.
But we also got the important things right. I was thinking they were going to do the whole design language equivalent to iMac. They didn't. Black is the way to go for the bezels, and I'm happy. This is so trivial. This is so Apple sheep of everybody but Nick because he's no longer worthy. But now they got the same colored braided cables for the MagSafe.
Oh,
That was nice. That is nice.
I heard are they selling those now? I think I
They're for
heard
sale right
someone
now.
say they're
separate.
for sale.
Yep, separate. $50.
Oh my god.
$50.
I'm $50?
Yes, sir.
What? For a cable? Does it come? No, it doesn't come with Oh my
No.
god. I got the pop-up just now for personalized spatial audio.
Oh, you're right.
What does that
rocking the
even
beta?
mean?
Who else rocking the betas this
I
cycle?
put the I know Randy doesn't. He's always hesitant.
Wait. I'm not doing it yet.
Ooh,
But I wanted
Nick's
to do a
got it.
test. I'm going to put the beta on. I
Nice.
want to run a test. I want one of you
Okay.
fine gentlemen who have the beta to send a text
Okay.
while we're recording in our group chat and then edit the text and then remove the text. I want you to edit it first
So,
and then I
Okay.
want you to delete the text.
I've already done that.
Go ahead, Drew.
I want to see what it looks like on my end. Yeah.
From what I've heard, it will do nothing on your end
Okay, I got
if you're
Nick.
not on iOS 16. So I texted you guys, I'm ready. And then after the fact, I edited it to have I'm ready with an exclamation mark.
And
So
I see the
Nick
exclamation
should
part,
see the
and I see
exclamation
it
mark.
says edited.
It says
I got-
edited underneath.
I have nothing.
Okay, so it'll just not change at all if you're on iOS 15.
I will
or
send you a
later, or
screenshot.
earlier.
This is what it looks like.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I have nothing.
I love your wallpaper, Nick. That looks great.
Thanks. I let Elon pick my wallpapers,
That's so cool.
and I'm not joking.
Oh my goodness.
I started putting the little widgets underneath the time.
Yes. Okay.
They're still kind of buggy, but they look
Which widgets do
they
you
look
have?
really nice. And I have a stocks highlight, so it's the stocks I'm currently monitoring, and it comes with little arrows saying if they're doing good or bad today. And then I have the Apple Watch battery, which is low at the moment, and then my activity rings. And did you guys catch that Face ID works in landscape now?
No way.
I'm the one who told-
Yeah,
Nick,
it blew my mind.
try it upside down.
No.
That never worked.
No, I know.
Works in either
I know.
landscape though.
I asked Drew to try it upside down and it didn't work. I just want to know if it was
But
him.
I can't believe they didn't talk about that on stage. That's a huge feature to me.
It's so important. These phones, as they get bigger, they deserve
Especially
to be in
when-
landscape.
Yeah, especially when you're like watching a video and then you check notification center or it gets locked or something and you want to unlock it again, or you're just holding it kind of in a weird, like, I'm not sure what the compatibility is on that. There's a bunch of forums I need to look through right now to find answers, because I'm not sure
Gentlemen.
if they added that to.
Did you know
Yes.
you can now enable the haptic engine to do its thing while you're texting?
No. Really?
Wait,
Where's that?
like
Like
haptic
keyboard
feedback
clicks?
as you type?
Yeah, like keyboard
Where's
click,
that?
you actually feel it go in your, I think it's in setting. I don't have the software, but
It's
I've been
probably
doing
a keyboard.
I've been trying to find
assume.
obscured things. There's
I
a
like
feature.
obscure
Not
things. So
in
I just
keyboard.
looked it up that. Oh,
Where
okay.
is it?
Accessibility. Sorry, I was just gonna update everybody that it seems that the landscape Face ID only works with iPhone 13, not 12.
Ooh.
So that might be part of the new True Depth camera system arrangement thing. Like it has to be that.
Have you stuck your phone in your ear yet, Drew?
In my ear?
To do the spatial audio LiDAR
Oh.
scan?
No, I haven't. I've actually just been editing diligently, but I went to the haptics, sound and haptics section, and I went to keyboard feedback, and haptic is a toggle that's turned off. I'm going to turn it on, and I'll try to start typing. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
It does work. It works really well, too. It's very responsive.
Huh.
And I guess I swipe a lot anyway, but yeah, I did not realize that was a thing. Randy just told me.
Where in the settings?
It's in
is it?
sound and haptics.
Okay.
Yeah, this
So
is
you
actually
search
pretty
sound
nice.
and haptics, go to keyboard feedback, and then there's a haptic option now.
I wanted to
Which
surprise
I
you
like.
guys with at least one obscure thing I can find that hopefully no one told you yet.
Thank you.
There's always
I've
little
got a
Easter
new one
eggs.
you guys might not know.
Let's hear it.
For it.
You can no longer select a wallpaper for just your home screen.
Oh.
The lock screen, home screen thing are like
Is
matched
combined.
now.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
So that might upset some people.
That's a
Yeah.
problem for my current layout.
Oh.
Oh, really?
I will send you
Is that
guys.
going to throw you off?
I will say, Randy, once you get the update, you're gonna want to change your whole layout because
I
sure
kind of
did,
disagree,
and
man.
I've seen your layout. It's pretty good.
I know, but look. Open. I sent you guys to open them. Don't just look at them in the preview. Click on each one so I can talk to you why it's going to be a problem for me. Okay.
Okay, go for it.
If you see the way I had to design those widgets with the shadows, and then you cut off the little section where I can have the floating space bar thing there. The only way this effect works is that it has to be separated. It's the only way the illusion works when you swipe up and you do its thing. I have to have two separate wallpapers effectively.
I see
the
that,
illusion,
yeah.
the illusion of giving me my popping icons won't work. So that's something I have to maybe try to figure out a workaround. I'll do what I will do because I'm such a I'm such a paranoia
never
guy. I'm like Nick with universal control, right?
Hey, I did finally
So-
update. Took a while, but
Even though I'm nervous about always putting the beta on the phone, I'm going to do it this time because it's just too exciting of a lock screen feature. But my trade-off is that I'm going to sacrifice some very valuable iCloud storage and have a dedicated backup that's locked to the unbeta one.
okay, smart.
So if anything happens, I can always just revert back. So that's my plan.
I did not do that.
Good idea.
Are you a thrill seeker, Drew? Did you back up your phone anyway?
Yeah. No. I didn't update. I went all in. Well, on the iPad, I didn't care because I was like, this could be bricked, and I would probably be happier in life.
We wouldn't even notice if it was bricked.
No,
Honestly, I would have
exactly.
rather them have deleted the iPad after what they did to that thing. They did.
I was hoping.
They didn't do
I
nothing.
was hoping it would be bricked.
They didn't do nothing to iPadOS, which I appreciate, but that's where all my good things end. Because
That's why you're good.
it's like, guys, you know what we want, but they don't want to give it to us. More than okay, it's nice that we have multi-window control. They did about half a job. They did about half a job, but we wanted like a whole software update worth of job here. But like you missed the reason. Why do pros want so many windows on top of each other? Well, me right now, I have OBS sitting on top of Discord with a bunch of Finder windows in the background. Why do I want that? Because I was just dealing with Finder files and some are still transferring. I'm talking to my friends in Discord and I'm recording myself in OBS. Guess what? You can't all do that all at the same time on the iPad.
Yeah.
Because the iPad doesn't have pro apps. And yes, I'm moving my head while I talk because I'm sassy about this not being a thing still. The iPad sucks and it's your fault.
No, I was.
Tim.
I'll tell you why I'm personally offended. I I mean, I was grateful for the weather app after
Yes.
12
yes.
years.
12 years. Yep.
We gotta take our wins where we can. But after editing my recap video, the more I think about Stage Manager, the more annoyed I am by its existence. It feels like an attempt to say the iPad looks like macOS, but it's still not. It feels like, you know what made me laugh is the first way they introduced iPads into the Dub event was it's really easy to set one up for your kids.
Yes.
It's still that mindset of the Swift playgrounds. This is your child's device. You give the iPad to the kid, and the grown-ups can use the Mac. Macs are for grown-ups, and they let you say, see, multi-window app resizing. They're overlaying each other. Look at how the windows overlap. It's like, it's not the windows overlapping that's a feature, but they were like showing off how that they were pitching it like a feature. I'm like, that's not really I wasn't following how that was more practical. I guess you could kind of see some information on the back, but switch between
It would make more sense if the iPad only had that feature and it wasn't on macOS, because then you would think, oh, this is something to help manage your Windows situation for iPad. But the fact that they put it on the Mac now makes it feel like, oh, look, we're trying to bridge the two a little bit more, even though they're separate. If they would have dropped it from macOS, it would have been a cooler feature. That, not on the same notion, but the thing that kind of not frustrates me, but the thing that makes me go like, okay, I was whelmed, was that that free flow, free form, free whatever.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
That's just a big old whiteboard. That's called a whiteboard. You're using a whiteboard.
It is.
It was just
not ready yet. They're still working on it.
It's not.
Yeah, and
It'll come out in May of next year.
They figured out how to do iPad weather. They still haven't figured out the whiteboard yet. They're still working.
The whiteboard there, I'm like, okay, that it feels like you're just changing a new way of shared notes or shared page if you want a white background. But I was like, okay, I mean, I guess it's one big old, hey, let's brainstorm. And I feel like I could see us using it, having an applicable way to use that for, like, say, our podcast. But
that's exactly who I thought of. Was you guys was just like drawing and notes, and
but
I was like, but we're not gonna FaceTime because FaceTime sucks.
They couldn't fix FaceTime, so that part I was just like, this is a bit like, oh look, it's a thing, and we're spending a lot of time on it for some odd reason. But
a lot of collaborative features they were pushing, which makes sense, I
True.
guess. More people
Yeah.
working remotely, but at the same time, Apple's like, come back to work. Here's some collaboration. Come back to work. You will show up. You will. Okay, here's the thing that really offended me, though. I don't know about you guys. I've installed iPadOS 16. It's on my iPad
you have?
right now.
I have not. How's that?
I installed the beta. For one, none of the iOS 16 lock screen customization came over. That was all left behind.
Yep.
For two, they added the fitness app to the iPad. And at first I was like, whoa, we got fitness now. Guess what happens when I open the app? It's literally just the Fitness Plus page. Nothing else.
Oh my gosh.
They have an ad, a dedicated app for an ad to use one of their services.
It is just Fitness Plus. They default. I've never subscribed to it. I don't have it. And yet when I install iPadOS 16, they put it on there. They don't want to bring any of my Apple Watch data over there. They don't let you pair your Apple Watch to the iPad, but it does show up. It's a fitness app. And then the first thing I went to check was settings, battery. Still no optimized battery charging. Still no battery health.
Yep.
That was the top of my list. And like my top 10 iPadOS feature requests. AirPods have optimized battery charging. How can the iPad not have it? Like, they still into 2023 don't want to offer that. drives me nuts. So,
Yeah.
I could tell you guys, this
But the next iPad will have the M2 chip, so.
oh, it makes it worth it.
I
That's fine.
we've done another lap around the sun, so congratulations since last year, and I could tell you that I feel nothing. I'm not sad. I'm not excited. I've been dead for 12 months with iPadOS. Nothing you will say to me, Drew, will be like, oh, wow, that's weird. Oh, shock. Like, I'm like, oh, yep, I expect worse. Like, the whole thing, iPad is such a, iPad is such a, I think Nick just said, like, it's so close to wanting to, it just needs to take that one extra step, and they're purposely holding it back because of a theory that you've addressed, Drew. That's like, we need to give a reason every year, diminishing returns. How can we elongate some of this stuff for no reason? Like, they didn't do that with iOS 7, like that. They went all out. I just want that with iPad. Give me an iPad version of iOS 7. Not in the UI department, but the UI department in the sense that we had to kind of learn some stuff that was now being rolled over with some of the old design language, but with a new skin. Likewise, if we're going to really beef up iPadOS, we got to stop taking cues from iOS because it's no iPhone has an M1 chip in it. So, like, why?
Not yet.
Not yet. Why are we still treating it like it's your child's device? But then we're gonna put a over $300 keyboard and call it a Pro and have a version of a Pro.
Little Tommy has a desktop mode. Look,
that's cute.
Overlapping windows.
Daddy, look,
It's
that's
like
cute.
You know, like way back in the 90s or whenever, when little kids were growing up, they had like the plastic like speak to learn your ABCs thing, but with like a laptop.
Yeah.
I used to pretend like I'd go to work with one of those, and I'd be like sitting there next to my dad, who was working from home or whatever, on his laptop, old Chongus like IBM ThinkPad or whatever, and I'd be sitting there learning my alphabet. And I feel like that's what they did with the iPad. It's like, aw, you can go pretend to work. Aw, good job.
Cute. The adults are
enjoy not
great.
having any pro applications.
It's basically like the plastic lawnmower with the little balls on the inside that bounce around, and you can walk behind the real lawnmower as you're. Right, exactly. That's what it is,
sad.
but
All right.
that's enough iPadOS hatred.
I like we need to get out of the negativity here, because otherwise it was a pretty good event. Like,
I thought this was a great event, for the record.
what do you think about the macOS? What's that called?
Ventura.
Stacks, piles, slides. No, Ventura. What's the? Dang it! What do they call it when they stick the windows on top of the other windows? The second dock. What is it called?
Stage
Jeez.
Manager.
Stage Manager. Yes. What do you think about that? Pro, no, yay,
Yeah,
nay.
I'm not. I can't figure out how it'd be useful personally. I don't know how you guys reacted when you saw it, but it didn't look like something I would use personally. But what did you guys think?
Okay, I'll go. Yeah.
So personally, I don't think I'm gonna use it. But
Okay.
when I saw it, I immediately thought of my grandpa, who is up there, over 70, and he, on occasion, will accidentally lose like a window behind like another window, or whatever, and he'll get like really confused, and he'll like go over and quit the app, and like, or if he'll like slide it all the way down like underneath his dock or something somehow when he's looking for a file or something. So I think that might be kind of helpful for him to just have it more visually representative, because anyway, I could also never really get him to reliably open Control Center, or what's the Control
Mission
Center
Control?
has all the, is that not Control Center?
Mission Control.
Mission Control.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, that one. Because it's a gesture,
Okay.
and those are complicated. So I'm like, that might be a cool feature to see if he likes it, and I don't know, but I don't think I'm gonna use it. It's cool that it's there, I guess. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't think I'll use it.
I need to try it. I need to.
It
mess
feels like
around with it.
Stacks. Do you remember Stacks?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still use Stacks?
I don't use Stacks, but I think I remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, here,
Stacks,
we're
but
going to organize
instead
your
of a
entire desktop
file,
for you.
it's now an application or it's your window. So yeah, an application. I like it, but it's not it's not for me. Another Randy a couple years ago would have been using it, but I don't run my macOS that way. I'm very minimal with. I have always just the bare essentials open. I know where everything is at all times when I have it running. Everything runs with a purpose. A couple years ago it would have been a little bit different when I was kind of all in on Mac, and I would have everything. Things I would do on my phone on the Mac. Things I do on the iPad on the Mac. Everything was just Mac. But in more recent times, I just like it's digital minimalism of decluttering of the mind of what I want to see. I've never used Stacks, and just because I don't have anything ever on my desktop, I like to have it clean. So it's not for me, but people who default save things to their desktop, default just have all these different tabs open for different reasons, or maybe even different windows for different functions. You want to have a private window browsing open while you also have it in conjunction with a public window that's open, and they're both doing their own separate things for different functions. I can see where you could slowly start to get a little overwhelmed just with your day-to-day, because you'll have that. You might have a Finder window open. You're going to have photos or maybe even messages. iMessage will open, mail. You have all these, like, notes is a big one. I use the notes a lot. I'm looking at my desk to see what I would use. And those are just, that's universal to everybody. And then put somebody who's a content creator, you get Final Cut, you get Logic, you get OBS, you have all these other things happening all at once. It could get a bit overwhelming. And I can understand that too, simultaneously. But I'm just a little bit more disciplined about how I like to manage my files. But for people who don't want to be, here you go. Here you go.
Probably better for the casual Mac user, that kind of thing. Like the iPad. Yeah.
Oh, he went there.
I'm sorry. I went there again, but Mark Gurman just brought up an excellent point that I have to bring up now, because on this positive side, even though I thought we were done, he said that you guys know the external monitor revamp and the stage manager stuff is exclusive to the M1 iPads?
Yes.
No, really?
Oh, Nick didn't know that. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow, Apple. You slipped that one right by me.
Yeah.
Okay, I take back my mediumness on no
No more mediumness.
No. This is terrible. Apple.
But
I've given
that's
up.
not even the point he brought up.
I had given up before, but now I've completely given up. Like,
everyone
there's
set
no
your
hope.
iPads on fire right now. No, I'm kidding.
we
But-
should do an iPad burning. Actually, sell them to me, and I will sell them on SwapUp for you.
The point he brought up is that they shipped a dev kit with an A12Z chip that ran macOS.
Big Sur, nonetheless. Not even
Yeah.
Ventura, which is probably more efficient and easier to run on Silicon.
Yeah, really. Exactly. They ran Big Sur on an A12Z, and yet they say, like, no, all this app layering and stuff, we can't put that on A12X or A12Z iPads. It's too hard. It's like, okay, that's it. I can't. I'm sorry.
Yep.
iPad's just too depressing. I don't want to think about it
It
anymore.
is.
What I need to talk about, camera continuity. Oh my God.
Yes. You called it. You called it, bro.
I
You
wanted
called it.
this for so many years. This is amazing, and I need to try it right away. I'll probably try it with my iMac Pro since I have a backup Mac now. But thank God this exists. It does exactly what I want it to and more. Not only does it bring center stage to any Mac you want, but it captures the whole desk setup from like this
Yep.
POV. Like, oh my God, how did they do that?
So
That is amazing.
everything, it's capturing all the information that the ultra wide is doing, and the reason why it totally makes sense because every iPhone with MagSafe has an ultra wide lens, every single one of them, and it uses that lens and all that information and
You're right.
and reworks it in such a way that then morphs the desk where it's not at an angle. I'm testing it right now. It's not at an angle, but then it was like after you take a photo, you can go in and crop the corners to reposition how it's looking. It's kind of doing that maybe in live time to give you that overlay, that desk view, like an overhead. So it's doing this, but not really needing to be able to just point down. But its feature is that of using an ultra wide the same way the studio display is using ultra wide at all times, but tracking you when you are doing your center stage functions. It's just center stage that doesn't move, but for the desk, it's all the same information, but it needs to have an ultra wide to do so, and therefore anything with a MagSafe capability does have that camera lens, and therefore any of your phones that 2012, I'm sorry, iPhone 12 and 13 and then 14 can be a bigger push for all that stuff going in that way. It's really interesting stuff. I was reading into it a little bit more. This one doesn't feel like I'm going to give you guys new information, but it's looking like you'll be able to do it wired and plugged in as well, which is cool. So maybe you don't necessarily need to have that one kit where it has to just pop right on there and kind of be top heavy.
I would rather do it wired.
Same.
To be honest.
Yeah, same.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the ability that you can kind of give
it's
you
just
the
like
mobility.
Sidecar.
Yeah.
Yep. Reliability, especially for live stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Sidecar is like, we can do it wirelessly, and then there's all this like artifacts and compression and stuff. So I would just leave it plugged in because it's gonna need power anyway.
See, I think it being plugged in will only be for power source. I don't think it's going to use anything but like the AirPlay technology that's already there, and that's how you're going to use that information. So
Probably.
whether you're plugged in or unplugged is not going to matter, but having it plugged in just makes me feel a bit more comfortable that like I'm not nuking my battery. I would suspect it's going to kind of hurt the battery during the time of like using it. I remember Nick purposely went out of his way, got a different iPhone just so he could use an iPhone for his streams when he started last year or end of two years ago. Nick was a man ahead of his time.
Yeah,
I was, and no one appreciated it.
I did, man. I appreciate you.
Look at them now, gluing iPhones to the back of their MacBooks.
yeah, literally. They're just like,
That
you
was
want a
pretty
better
funny. Craig
MacBook
was like,
webcam?
Oh, you can just you just. Oh, do you want a new webcam on your? Did you want something more than 1080p? Well, here's $1,000 iPhone. You can just duct tape it right there.
I'm sorry,
and then-
1080p
mount it to your
not sharp
laptop
enough?
with a $5 plastic cutout from Belkin that they'll charge $50 for. And you just hold it right there.
Yep.
No, I'll put it on a tripod. I don't need that adapter. Just put it on something else. I would not try to mount it on that display lid thing. That looked tacky. Or the Pro Display. Let me get my $6,000 monitor and mount my $1,200 iPhone at the very top, and it'll just hold on there just barely.
Yeah.
But am I getting too excited? Do you think it's going to be all compressed and not very high quality anyway? I mean, I'm seeing people tweet that it's really good.
Yeah.
But you don't think it'll be...
I'm sure it'll be good. Like, so I think it's going to be very similar to Sidecar. Like, Sidecar is great when it works. But 80% of the time when I go to use Sidecar for more than 30 seconds, it glitches out.
Yeah.
And it's like...
That's true.
And then and I'm like, okay, well, it was a nice idea, but now it's not working. So, no thanks.
I think it will work in ideal lighting conditions. You will get the best feature of that. If you're talking about the desktop view, I'm more impressed with the ability of it to just do a desktop view as such. It's not a perfect like 90-degree angle pointing down right there, but it gets most of the information recorded there. In a room like this, how I'm set up right now, it's too dark. It'll be all fuzzy. You're gonna get that type of compression that you would filming anything on your phone. You'll be like, yep, that's on an iPhone. You could tell it's on an iPhone. But I think with the ideal lighting, get that Apple Park lighting, I think it's going to be looking pretty nice. And who knows? Maybe.
I just feel like I'm getting center stage now.
You are.
Again.
I think you kind of are, for sure. It kind of makes me not... I'm just loving my MacBook Pro that much more. Not stressing about the center stage thing now. I would rather use an iPhone We spent like what 2 episodes, Drew? You're talking about how these cameras like give us a dedicated like. I would rather use the iPhone camera for all things if it was possible. And
yeah, that's a 4K sensor instead
and the
of 1080p
rear
like
facing
all
one.
the other sensors.
It's not even the front. It's the rear
Yeah.
facing. My goodness. So that's the best of the best, and then some. So Apple has a loophole about like, okay, everyone always complains about our cameras. Well, they don't complain about the iPhone camera, so take that, consumer. And I think it's genius. It's great. Yeah. I just hope it's not sidecar.
Yeah.
Take that.
Right.
Take that. However,
I think Nick is right.
Come on.
I don't.
As
want
soon
him to
as
be.
he
Don't
did
be
the
sidecar.
when they started talking about it, I was pumped because I feel like, this is what I've been asking for years. I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna use
Finally,
cameras, the webcam. But then I think where some of my hopes started to shatter was when he was like, you just hold your iPhone next to your Mac and it automatically knows, and it just starts working. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be hard.
Uncle
as soon
Owen,
as
like
soon as he said
how
that.
FaceTime is just supposed to work. That's how I did it.
Oh no.
That's
Yes.
Oh no.
that's how I did it. Like it just works. Oh, kind of like how group FaceTime just works. Like how you fix group. Yep, that's exactly how I did it.
It works perfectly wirelessly. You mean like sidecar works wirelessly?
You mean?
That's perfect.
That's it.
That's brilliant.
When the time comes, it's
Do you
going
guys
to
think?
work.
Do you guys think this justifies bringing Thunderbolt to the iPhone even more so?
Yeah.
Now that they're directly advertising accessories.
Oh
and-
yeah. Oh totally. They should put Thunderbolt on the iPhone. They should allow the iPhone to I don't know, like run macOS.
I bet the iPhone will run macOS before
Beautiful.
iPadOS does.
iPad will run macOS after.
I am
iPhone runs
confident
macOS.
whatever
That
happens,
probably is going to be a thing.
The iPhone 14 and Plus going forward, not size, but the iterations going forward, will be built to fully utilize this feature where our 13 Pros might do a darn good job for how they exist today, but we're beta testers running this beta season, whereas when it launches and we have the hardware to support it, I'm confident iPhone 14 will be the most well-equipped device to use this feature. And then if iPhone 15 has Thunderbolt, then more power to it.
Literally.
Literally. I'd rather they lay the groundwork now.
More power.
On the software side, so that way we can let the hardware catch up to it. Because software is only limited by the imagination of what you can try to push it. Whereas the hardware, sometimes you just got to wait for it to mature and catch up. And please, future-proof. Get the software now where you'd be like, man, this would work so good on a blank. Then so we can kind of hope for that part to get there. Because so many times, you know what happens when it's reversed? You have iPad. This is such great hardware. I can't wait for the software to and you're sitting 5 years later. So do it the other way,
I think we need to do a challenge. Not mention the iPad for more than 30 seconds as an example of disappointment. We're all like, I can't hold it.
Disappointed. Yeah.
Try not to mention it. Like, that other thing.
The veins popping on the neck.
know.
I want to just tell you so bad how
Right.
much I hate it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can't wait to try it.
Last thing that I want to share before I go run on this whole iPhone thing.
Oh, yes.
I was quite offended when Craig said, and what's the best way to have a FaceTime call? By using the best camera you own. And then proceeds to pull out his iPhone. And I'm like,
I know. Ross texted me. He was like,
well, that was
the
presumptuous.
red Komodo? Like, what?
I know. Like, I was like, one of my 3Z cams, one of my 2 high full frame stills, one of my APS-C cameras. I mean,
That's
Apple.
what he
The
meant.
iPhone's good, but like, damn. So now every MacBook comes with a Area Alexa 35, and y'all
That's
can
fair.
enjoy that.
All right. Well,
All right, I do got to get going, guys. I'm sorry. I
problem.
think Drew and Randy are going to continue the show. Scheduling issue with work and whatnot, but I'm glad I was able to say hello, and we'll see you guys later.
bye, Nick. Well, now that he's out of here, we can talk about how we really feel. iPadOS is so good.
I know.
Oh my god.
And that touch bar.
So well done.
He really threw a wrench with the touch bar thing. I thought that was weird.
I don't follow him at all, especially
like the
after saying
MacBook
the
Air.
MacBook Air. Like,
You spent the last 4 months, Nicholas, destroying our design language and telling us, basically saying that we're ugly. And he's like, I'm liking that MacBook Air. What world do you live on?
the
'Cause it's
MacBook
not
Air looks
Earth.
just like the Pro.
But with
It
worse
looks just
ports,
like the new Pro.
with 60 hertz and not many LED and what?
Right. I know. I think he's trolling us. I'm convinced
he is too.
he just wants to drive us mad. But
It's working.
I do genuinely agree, though. The MacBook Air looks fantastic, and I'm excited to try it out. I want to look at the midnight color.
Yeah.
I want to do a M2 speed test, and I guess on that subject of Mac, were you surprised at all by the lack of Mac Pro and no new Pro display or anything?
Yeah, that was the one thing where, okay, so here's where I was wrong. I don't say it often, but I was so adamant that, like, oh yeah, we're totally getting hardware and it's Mac. By Mac, I mean Mac Pro, not... I'm surprised they didn't do Mac Mini then, if that's what we were doing, but...
That also confused me. We got... It was almost a repeat of the November M1 event where they update the Air, the Pro...
And the Mini.
But not the Mini. Do you think that was a profit margin thing? Like, we only sell the M2 in $1,200, $1,300 Macs. That way we can charge a lot more.
I think it's too close to the Mac Studio, which is just 2 Mac Minis on top of each other in like design language, and I think it's just we didn't want to take away Mac Studio. They're 2 completely different products, and they even said that you and I are still sitting very pretty on our Ultras and Maxes of the M1 that is still going to perform very, very well, and in some cases outperform the M2 still, but the M2 is still a very, from what they presented with their ever so detailed graphs, is still a very efficient chip. And if somebody wanted to get a desktop,
those are getting funnier every time.
They are, yeah. Great. Here's our chart last year. Here's our chart this, oh my, okay. All right.
I think that Johnny guy, who's always in the lab.
Yeah.
I think they're reusing footage. I'm starting to think every time we go there, he's saying the exact same thing. Like, someone needs to go back and overlay all the Johnny speeches.
Yeah.
'Cause they basically say, we are working hard on Apple Silicon to ensure that all the chips consume less power and produce more performance per watt.
In the previous iteration.
It felt like that provides 20% more graphics.
This is not the accent or the Johnny I thought they were going to show when they said, and now here's Johnny. Like, how dare you? Or they go, oh, now here's Craig, and it's some Aussie.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
That is not Johnny.
Yeah, you're not Craig or Johnny, the Dynamite, and none of that. I felt so cheated again.
Were you confused at all in the end when Craig stops and they just jump cut to Tim? Like, there was no transition?
Ooh, I don't think I caught that part.
Okay. I was caught off guard just because I'm used to the drone shots and the weird transition scenes, and then Craig was like, back to Tim, and then it was just a cut, and I was like,
wow.
Oh, what, did you run out of... Wow. Did you run out of money or something? Like, what happened?
Was there a post edit? I didn't catch that part. Unfortunately, I decided to be a little mini Drew today, and I hosted an event, and so there was a lot of excitement and then frustrations near the end. I thought for sure they were teasing us for so long about not talking about iPadOS. I'm like, oh, they really got something cooking, and for a fraction of a moment,
saving it for last.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
for a fraction of a moment, I genuinely thought we were going to see something.
Remember when they said desktop class apps? That's when I was like,
yeah. The moment I was like, are we doing this? I said, are we doing this? Now you can have the code. I'm like, okay. I'm done. Nope. Nope. If I could break up with my iPad again, I would.
The apps are overlapping.
Dude,
Isn't that great? Oh my god.
iPad. I know. We got to stop talking about iPad because there's so much more for it. WatchOS was the most okayest WatchOS thing I've seen so far. I don't blame Apple Watch for what it is. It's so ahead of its time, and it's not that we need competition to catch up so that way it could get creative again. I kind of feel like, what more can you do that with the hardware that's provided?
Exactly.
I wasn't upset. I wasn't excited for WatchOS. I was like, hey, that's cool. Oh, okay, cool. Expand upon what you've already established with the health features and that. Awesome. But I mean, it's just good. It's overall, like, this is what happens when you have just get a fine working product of Apple Watch. So WatchOS was cool, but I'm like, yeah. Honestly,
there was it was. They can't do much more, so I don't blame them. You know, there's not much you can ask for. For me, it's just the third-party watch faces.
Yeah.
Which we've been asking for since day one. So maybe I should just give up on that dream. I'm happy with the current watch faces anyway. It's not like it's a deal breaker, but it was fine. Kevin's doing his best. You know, I think Kevin has built a fantastic OS. This guy, I mean, like, he probably never built a watch operating system before because that was not a thing, you know, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he properly utilized the hardware, took it to the best of its ability, and is just in the refinement stage. And that's what WatchOS is. It's just a few more health features, a medication option, and I like the new notification system. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that stood out to me.
Never a reason to full screen anything. Nothing needs to be a full screen.
Exactly. That reminds me. Does this get rid of pop-ups? I don't have low battery yet, so I don't know.
Are you looking on your phone?
Yeah, I'm checking on iOS 16 to see like what happens when I get low battery. I want it to be a little drop-down menu.
Oh.
There's so many tiny things; it's hard to cover all of it. But I know what I was going to ask you about. Oh, the biggest thing with WatchOS, in my opinion, wasn't WatchOS at all. It was the Series 3. Not getting WatchOS 9, but they're still selling it. Why do you think they're okay doing that?
Oh, man. Money?
They have a bunch of them in stock. They can't get rid of them.
While supply lasts, maybe? Why not get the SE then?
I feel like we could get that any day.
Yeah. My wife got the SE because that was just the more logical thing to do for what she wanted, not the 3.
No, I'd recommend the SE to a ton of people.
They shouldn't do that. I don't think they've ever done that before. All right, this is being discontinued.
I can't remember a time.
But we're not selling it anymore. That doesn't make sense to me.
Like, they usually provide updates for devices several years after they stop selling it.
Yeah. Never have you seen, we are still selling it, but no updates.
Here's something we're selling, but it won't get the latest version, like, this fall.
That's
just bizarre
Osborne
to me.
effect? Tricentennial? No, yeah, Osborne effect. No. What effect is that? Is this...
The Bornaz effect.
Because it's opposite.
I think we've developed a new effect, the Series 3 effect.
Bornaz effect. The Series 3 effect. Where...
When you sell a device that's already outdated on day one.
What's the Series 3 effect? When we have so much money, we don't care that we just hurt our own selves by we're selling... That makes no sense. Somebody went wrong. Someone went wrong. You know who else went wrong? We went wrong. There is no macOS Mammoth. What a cool name.
No. Oh my God, no one got that right. I don't know anyone who got Ventura.
Right.
It sounds cool though. I like it. It's a cool name.
Alrighty then. That's the Ace Ventura.
I love the fake forced acting in the Apple event. Remember when he walks in on them recording Fitness Plus?
Hey, Craig. I was like, yeah,
hard.
hi, Craig. I'm like, that guy's definitely Craig sexual. Same.
I wish they would have walked into a room and found like everyone bowing. Like they're all on their like goat yoga mats, bowing down to this like
the shrine
red light. Yeah. Oh, sorry guys. And he like backs up. I don't know. It just looked so bad. But
you want to talk about, you know how like they last year they're like, we take privacy very seriously, and they just like change the tone. This one they were like, abusive relationships. It's like, whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
Right.
Hold
it went
up.
so fast.
I'm over here making jokes at the new Craig memes about how good looking he is, and all of a sudden they're like abusive, and I'm like, I'm in an abusive relationship with Craig because it just got so.
Does someone want to tell iPadOS it's in an abusive relationship?
So many people were saying that. I'm in an abusive relationship with iPad. Or iPadOS, yeah. I keep wanting more, and I wanted to call whatever numbers that they were posting there. It's like, yeah, iPadOS is gaslighting me.
Exactly. No, it was bad.
Yeah.
But,
so that like, I'm glad they're taking the right precautions. Like, to the listeners, don't get it.
Yeah,
twisted.
it's a good feature.
It's a good feature,
course.
but my goodness, what a transition. I didn't know how you ease into that one. Like, okay, our crack marketing team is working on the next best thing. Abusive relationships are serious. Whoa.
It's a lot of tones they're juggling in this whole presentation.
And they get featured.
It's really like a feature-length movie.
2 hours?
Yeah. No, it's like a full-length film. Is there other companies that can make ads 2 hours long and people, like millions of people watch them? Like Apple's an amazing brand that they can do this and people will watch it. And somehow they keep it interesting. Like I was thoroughly entertained. Both laughing with and at the event.
Yeah.
I like how they treat Craig like a mascot, you know, like when he's running with the hair and everything. I was like, if you're not in on this, who's watching this and like, won't they be really confused? They're like, I know it's Pride Month, but Craig, I mean, what are you trying to do here?
Please, I'm an honest man now. I've got my commit. But
he's just running at everyone with the hair. I was like, if you were like, this was your first Apple event, you'd be like,
what?
You'd be so lost. I love it.
Hey mom, who's this Greg guy or something? You get so confused.
If you're watching Dub for the first time, your parents walk in right on that scene where he's running at the camera. What are you watching?
Randy, turn that off. No, it's not what it looks like.
It's Dub, I promise.
He's old enough to be my dad. It's what? I don't care what you're doing with your Dub. You're not supposed to do. I'm sorry. Wait.
Right.
You know what's crazy?
Oh God.
I tell you that our big miss of the day, for me, I think for you, is I am genuinely like, oh, okay, no TV OS at all.
Yeah, they just skipped it.
Nothing
in total.
Like it didn't exist.
Why
did they not do that for iPadOS?
Win. Yeah, that would have been better, honestly.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have expected much if they just dropped iPadOS from the keynote and they just didn't talk about it.
News Plus got more time than Apple TV Plus.
Oh.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, there was not really any TV Plus talk at all, was there?
Nothing. Zero. Zip. And it has its own dedicated OS. Didn't matter. You were going to ask me something, or you were going to say something.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, what was I going to ask? It was about Oh yeah, I remember. I thought it was weird that we're already on M2 now. I keep forgetting M2 is out. Like I'm used to that being a rumor or a leak.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's real. It's like they confirmed it. 10-core GPU. Here's the improvements.
Yep.
But the Intel Mac Pro is still there. Isn't that weird that like we're already working on the follow-ups of
The
M1?
next gen.
We're already on the next gen, and he was like, we'll save Mac Pro for another day, and it's like, so what day, John? Like, when is that day? I don't know. I'm not
Is
sure.
that the day we get air power, or what are we talking here?
Oh, see, okay. That was a placeholder question to hold me over until I remembered my real question. I don't know about you, but I thought the layout of the announcements was kind of bizarre for this keynote.
Layout, meaning
Like they went. The order of announcement was iOS, watchOS, Mac, not macOS, just new Macs, hardware, followed by macOS, then iPadOS. And I was like, why would they? Why would they do that? I don't know. I feel like MacBook Air or M2 chip probably would have been a great one more thing. Like, okay, if you want to announce it now, do all the software at once, and then save the hardware for last, kind of keep people holding their interest and throw in some Easter eggs and stuff. But they kind of arranged it in this, I guess they were trying to have some kind of flow between, here's the new Macs, and they're running the new Mac OS, and that has Stage Manager, which is also on iPad. I don't know. Maybe there was some narrative, but you didn't find that weird?
in the part, I don't know if the word I would use weird, but the part that I was that reaction I just did, that thing where I'm just like, okay, is you saved the iPad for last intentionally, meaning I was expecting to see new features with the iPad now, not stuff that would make me be like, oh my god, this is post PC. Just okay, some genuine new features that we want to put some dedicated time, because normally when Apple does that and they save it for later or for last, it's because when they do their storytelling presentation, the Steve Jobs effect, is because they have a way of bringing it full circle and tying it all in together, where it's like, and by the
it's
way,
like the climax.
Yes, the crescendo, the everything about this, that now,
right.
Guess what? iPadOS also gives you not just a weather app, but with the widget, you can actually interact with the widget. And we're also bringing that over to iOS and macOS, and they're like, oh, there it is. Now we're full circle with everything. And it has a resolution. Every story Apple tells with their keynotes, it is a story. There's a problem, and there's a solution. There's a conflict, and there's a resolution. And we have to come full circle with it. And so I'm like, okay, let's see what they're going to... After they did the whole ultra-wide camera showing you what your desk would look like for desktop, I'm like, okay, they're thinking outside the box. Let's see what you got for iPadOS then. Nothing. What?
Yeah.
Why? Save macOS for last then. That's the way to do it. And like you said, it's like, by the way, all this is going to work just as good, and then you can go to Johnny with his charts when it's like, because now we're also going to be introducing M2 and blah 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 blah. And it's just the arrangement of the storytelling today felt a little off. Not that it was a bad keynote, but it was just
no, it wasn't bad.
Why that order? I don't want to be my takeaway to be iOS is the first thing we're talking about. Like that's your star child right there. The iPhone is your golden boy. That's your Tom. That's your Tom Brady. You save this person when you know it's time to, he's the Rock. He's the Ryan Reynolds. You bring him out when you know you're gonna like, boom, drop the mic or something. Yeah, that's your red notice. But you start with iOS and you show a brand new lock screen, which is the most exciting feature for me. And then you follow it up with like updates. Nothing new, just updates. I'm like, well,
yeah.
You led with that. that's on you, Apple.
Yeah.
They led
No,
with
it
that.
is.
So I don't know. Yeah, it was a little
They did.
off. It was off, but the moment they said pro application blah blah with nonsense, and it wasn't
Desktop class.
yeah, desktop class. I was like, oh, here, even more ways you can have customized toolbars for your Finder if you want to see how big the files
Yeah.
are. Get the heck out of my face.
Feels like they're tiptoeing around the subject.
Just say you messed
Just
up, guys.
ignoring
Just
every
own
possible.
it. Yeah, just say you did.
Just own it.
Do iPad the way
How
you
do you
did
feel
Mac.
about?
I messed up.
Right. Yeah.
How do I feel about?
I'm trying notifications now. I'm trying to figure out how I feel. That they're basically starting from the bottom.
And now we're here.
Yeah, they like start from the bottom and then you kind of swipe up to view them all. And I guess that makes it look more organized.
Is it an ergonomic
But yeah,
thing?
Yeah, I think it is. That's kind of why I'm okay with it. Like
Yeah.
they show up right where your thumb is
Yeah.
naturally.
Let me grab my phone. Hang on.
So I'm kind of a fan. It's different, and I think a lot of people won't like it at first, but I'm already kind of getting used to it. Although everyone I talk to says iOS notifications suck, and I've never thought they were bad, even after trying Android. So maybe I'm just weird that way. But I generally like iOS 16. I think that the changes are noticeable, and I would still like the pop-ups to go away. I don't know if they have yet, but I wanted an AirPods app, but they kind of compromised with me a little bit.
I saw
when I open settings,
Yeah.
there's this AirPods tab right there beneath Apple ID, and it gives you all your AirPods settings. Not all the settings I would like, but still all the toggles that you used to have to go to Bluetooth and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not exactly what I wanted, but it's in the right direction. It's cool that it's just right there to access. I still want a charge limiter. I still think, like, keep it to 80%, and then I'll tell you, okay, now go to 100. Just because battery life in AirPods is so bad already, and they degrade so quickly. So I would have liked that, but always room for improvement. You'll never be perfect. Still no interactive widgets.
That's my greatest
to-
letdown was no interactive widgets. Luckily the widgets that I use so far for iOS 15 have done me well in the use case that I use it, where I want to display sentimental information or my Tesla car or my calendar or the weather. That stuff is important to me, and I don't really need to interact with that. So the widget thing, I would have been cool because I would absolutely use a now playing thing. Anything that's in the control center, I would love to have a dedicated slot for on my home screen as an option because it works well in control center.
Yeah, even the now playing tab. Have you seen that? It just stays at the bottom.
It doesn't.
It's smaller. It takes up less space. But
I took a second because I didn't answer your question. I took a second to think about that. I think I like that it's on the bottom because I like how Safari last year got updated where everything was on the bottom. I never changed my.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like things on the bottom because it's ergonomics. If we're doing away with the mini, and minis are just going away because they're not selling,
Right.
then ergonomically
True.
make me utilize a big screen where all the information that I need to actually engage with
That's a good point.
is at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have a volume slider there anymore, but I guess the logic is you use your volume buttons, use your watch, or change it.
What if you hard press or long press?
Place.
Does it open up bigger? If you hold press?
No, I don't. It opens straight. I don't know. It just opens Spotify as soon as I tap it. Long pressing doesn't seem to. I can hit AirPlay to like change it from my AirPods to the device. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be like a volume slider other than you could do control center. But
can I throw a curveball at you that I know you didn't talk about in your video? Because spoiler, I was there for the behind the scenes.
Yes,
I want to throw a curveball because we probably got like.
I want to talk about things I didn't bring up in the video. That's what this
we got about at least 10 minutes left, maybe a little bit more. I just want to. There's some stuff I want to pick your brain about. In context, you'll understand. What the heck? CarPlay.
That was amazing
Yes.
and weird
Yes.
at the same time.
Yes.
Like, for one, when they unveiled it, when they showcased all the UI changes, I was like, this is genius. Like, CarPlay is just taking over the whole car.
Mm-hmm.
It has the HVAC controls. It even had like a heated steering wheel button.
Mm-hmm.
It had like everything. It had range, speedometers,
Fuel?
obviously.
What's that?
Yeah. I was like, what's fuel? Why is there this gas pump icon everywhere? But they were like, CarPlay can now basically be infinitely adjusted to fit varying displays. And I was actually like, this fixes my biggest issue with phone-powered car infotainment. Like, I understood the advantages, and there's some cool stuff about CarPlay and Android Auto, but I hated how the UI always had to be boxed in, literally, to this rectangular shape, and it can only do so much. It has to combat and compete with the car UI and the car system navigation and menus and stuff. But when they showcased all of the info that CarPlay was gonna learn, I was like, this solves all my problems with CarPlay. Like, if it's possible, I don't know if it is, but if it's possible for CarPlay to just take over everything, then I would say that's better. We've talked about it before. I've never been an advocate for Teslas to have CarPlay because I always thought it would be better for the manufacturer or the company in charge to have complete control over that display unit. Now I want CarPlay on the Tesla because I know it can have access to all these things. Before I was like, well, you would still have to have this segment of the display controlled by Tesla, or it doesn't have to be Tesla. It could be Rivian or Lucid. It could be some other brand has to have control over these parts. Now we're at the point, if this CarPlay announcement is going to happen, that your phone could take over every display, the speedometer, and give you numbers and stats and everything. But the weird part was they said announcements for cars supporting this will be end of next year. I was like, wait, why are you announcing this now? Like, we're going to have another dub before this gets announced? Like, okay, I know how I feel. How do you feel?
No, I know you have not. I wanted to give you that time because I know you didn't talk about it in your
Thank
video,
you.
and
No, it blew my mind.
yeah.
But it's almost more of an EV subject. But
I know that's why I was like, I wanted to
Fine.
teeter, but this is Apple, so sometimes EV and tech we're gonna have to overlap like
we
that.
got to cross sometimes.
Yeah, it just happens.
Uh-huh.
I agree with everything you said. And I not one where I'm like,
Okay.
everything you said. I agree. Where it was weird, it was exciting, it got me pumped, and I'm like, end of 2023, we are all gonna be EV owners at this point, happily so. Which is why it's like, okay, so at some point, I'm sure between now and 2023, we definitely have content to talk about on both tech and EV, where this is going to be something brought up. I don't think Apple has ever announced something so late and given you a type of demo that long in advance. The closest thing we got is transition to Apple Silicon 2-year process, and we're going to start right here.
Exactly what I was going to say. That's the closest we've had, but
even
they've
then they
done
don't
that before with
demo
the PowerPC.
what the Mac Pro is going to be 2 years ago. So
True. That's
here we
also
have
not how it worked. Yeah.
Yeah, here we have full examples. And they're showing you this works with any and all screen landscapes and like I'm looking like this looks like a Tesla. Okay, now this looks like something new. And then I first thought I'd go, Project Titan, anybody? Have we now put a definitive timeline on Project Titan, whatever that may be? If it's not hardware only, if it's, say, they license softwares out, we see at least who's on board right now. Unfortunately, not Tesla right now, but it's so far in the future. It's like our whole economy is going to be different by then. So We're going to have a different
Yeah.
landscape
No.
that we're looking at this point. So let me take a step back. I kind of jumped forward right there. Just what was featured right now about the ultimate customizations about where you can put everything and how it works tells me a few things. Apple will replace the wallet, the keys, the everything, where the phone is the hub of all things. Yeah. And your ability that now that the brain, as we talk about the red camera, the Komodo, so the brain is the iPhone now in that sense.
Yeah.
It seems to me that this might also be a wireless.
It's you.
It's it's you.
It's you. Yeah.
Apple Glass, anybody? What now? Do we have a concept of how we're working with VR? Because that's not how I want to do it. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
But VR. We're going to talk about games. Don't even bother talking about those games.
God,
Apple.
that whole gaming thing was...
No. I talked to gamers on my Discord while that was happening, and even they were like, these games suck. I'm like, yeah, I know. Okay. Anyway.
That's what... Every game that's demoed at Dub Dub dies within like 3 years. Just
no,
for the
they
record.
did Resident Evil Village, which is Resident Evil 8. I'm gonna nerd out for a second because I know the franchise.
Okay,
it's an old game. Why are we talking about an old game and talking like it's new? No,
right.
No, oh my god. Okay. Sorry. CarPlay. We're going to see a whole... You brought up something I wanted to expand on. We're going to have a whole nother dub before we get to the release of this thing. And it might even get... It's possible it might get pushed. We don't know. They might give themselves a definitive date that it's going to launch with these cars.
It's almost likely.
Time. Right.
It's probably going to get pushed.
We will see iterations adjusted for... To keep up with whatever it's going to look like at the end of 2023. I think what we saw today is just the groundworks of something. I have to put my EV hat on and think about every time we looked at a Tesla, say the Model Y and how that changed just a little bit, the Cybertruck. And even though we're talking hardware, in the EV world, because this is all about vehicles now, in the auto world, things are subject to change quite aggressively.
Oh, yes.
So
a lot, yeah.
Maybe Apple announced it so early in advance to get more automakers on board and to get more support from third-party applications and usage, like, say, Ford has a dedicated app that they use. And so does Volkswagen. Yeah. Now that they can use this time to really build it out in a way that's not good. Because when you plug your phone in now, or if it's wirelessly, you're putting the Apple skin over. This is the most Android thing ever. You're putting an Apple skin over a different product, and you're changing it to fit an iOS themed, with the ability that Apple has now administrative server permissions to adjust as need be, but it still controls the car completely. That's going to take some time. And now you got to open up to maybe now what happens when you want to put like Audible or Spotify or something that's a third party equivalent to what Apple has, and you need to bring it on there. They need time to work on that stuff. So maybe it's a lot more intricate than how we're initially thinking. But the fact that they teased...
No, not maybe. It definitely is. Yeah, it's got to be way more intricate. With all these different displays they have to adjust to. As someone who's checked out a lot of EVs in recent history, and that's just EVs, there is so many different screens and processors that are running those screens and resolutions, and how they're going to get all the devs to try to work with that is
you have to come. There has to be a common ground on some capacity where this works for everybody. Yeah. What car do you think they're silhouetting in that? I'm trying to pinpoint. I can't figure it out.
I don't think it's a real car. I think it's a mock-up they made for the sake of the presentation, but it looks very close to a Polestar 2. It's the layouts they were kind of teasing are very Lucid-esque, which is like you have this kind of center display, and then you have this giant driver HUD that stretches across.
That was Woz's influence. He wanted to make sure that they got some airtime in there.
Because Woz, he drives a Lucid. For
those who don't, Woz is a very big Lucid fan, and if he could ever have an input on something, I would not be surprised if it was anything Lucid related for him on Apple. Yeah,
I'd still love it if Apple bought out an EV company like Lucid or something like that. I think they
The
could go hand in
the
hand.
luxury brand thing goes hand in hand. Especially seeing now
Already
that
have Face Unlock.
Apple's tipping their hat a little about stuff they're working on, and this is their way of teasing a little bit more next gen CarPlay.
They're having an affair, and everyone's shipping it. They're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I should mess around with that. And everyone's like, yeah, do it. You want an EV, don't you? You want your stock to be pushed up for no reason, an extra $1 trillion. Come on, you can do it. They would gain $1 trillion in market cap if they just bought Lucid. I guarantee it.
Man, those numbers just don't even make sense to me.
No, they don't. But that's how EV investing works, right? I mean, if a company announces they're doing an EV, the hype always is what everyone buys into, and Lucid has the best range in the industry. Apple has the best money in the industry. So if Apple buys Lucid, it's like, oh, they're guaranteed to survive. There's no chance of them going bankrupt now. So everyone would just be like, buy it. It's the future.
True.
So, Tim, these ideas are free. You're welcome for continuity camera and
buying
what else
Lucid
did I
when that
come up
inevitably
with?
happens. You came up with the camera ones.
Black bezels.
Black bezels.
That was my idea.
That's all Drew.
Just get rid of white bezels. That was all my idea. But before we wrap up, since you're the finance guy,
Okay.
I had to ask of your thoughts on Apple Pay Later.
Okay. I think it's a
From
very
a financial expert perspective.
I think it's a very lucrative business.
Lucrative in what way? Like good, bad, both?
Well, it depends on what side of the table we're talking from. From
the consumer side.
Okay, then it depends on what your objective is. If you listen, I acknowledge to our audience, listeners, everybody, I know. I've been there. I get it. So I want to buy everything that just makes me feel a little alive in the old ticker. I want to fund it. I want to play with it. I want to live through it. I want to thrive off of it. I totally get it. And there have been times where I have made reckless decisions and I've spent an ungodly amount on Apple for things that I had no business doing. And if you gave me an option to do incremental payments, if you gave me an option to do, I forget the name, the upgrade program thing that they had before that was around.
Yeah.
If I was using it when it first came out, but then I was already changing my mindset at that point about how I ran money. But all that to say that anything that gives you instant gratification and you don't have to feel the full wrath of it, of your wallet up front, there's a psychology about that makes you be like, okay, well then I can have my dessert first. And
Yeah.
and you're not punished for it. Wink, wink. And they're not the first to it. PayPal has been doing this for so long. And
That's what I was told. I'd never heard of this before. I would not recommend anybody do it, just for the record. Like,
yeah,
I don't know
but
about you, but I don't know anyone that should be buying something over the course of 6 weeks if you can't afford it up front or don't want to pay for it up front.
I hear you. I agree with you, but I'm also a realist in the sense that people are going to spend their money however they darn well please, is how it's been told to me.
Yeah, okay.
And they
That's
will
fair.
they don't mind being a paycheck to paycheck if they know they're going to get a paycheck. Everyone has different risk tolerance and they have a different relationship with money than, say, you and me. And that's their prerogative. You're a free person to do what you want then with your money. I look at it differently, but I will say I'm not better than anybody. I've been there. I get it. I used to upgrade.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. So if you can't afford it right now, it's like, man, I just need to get to this next paycheck. Then the bills cut. People don't think, and I will concede to you and say that I get it. I just hope you become more financially literate. But that I'm not your parent, so I'm not going to tell you. I'm not getting paid to babysit you guys, so that's up to them to do it. But people will think, I'm not thinking paycheck to paycheck. I'm thinking month to month. All right, man, do you do what you got to do? People already made up their minds on how they're going to do it, and I know people. You don't know people. Unfortunately, I do know people in my immediate circle that will use this benefit, this feature, that are diehard Apple sheeps. And they're like, man, I would love to get my hands on a Mac Studio. It's just too much money up front, and I don't want to put that on a credit card that's going to do all that stuff. And so they justify, it's like, if I could just drag out those payments, I can make it work. And they will do that over and over again, and this is going to, by introducing this feature for Apple, from Apple for Apple stuff, people are going to buy a lot more Apple products. And that also tells me prices are going to go up. So it's a win-win. That's what I mean by depends on what table you're looking at. This is nothing but good news for Apple. They're gonna sit back on their that scene in Breaking Bad where they lay on the bed of money. That's Tim.
That's them right now. That's Tim and Craig.
Yep.
Laying on the with the big wow. Look at all this cash. Yeah. It's kind of my opinion on hardware subscription services coming. Like I would not recommend anybody do it, but from a business perspective, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I guess I feel a little weird about it. It's like you're kind of encouraging people to.
Yeah. So here's my disclaimer
splurge.
then. If you're asking me, Drew, if my friend Drew is asking me, I would say don't do it. I would say please save up your money. Make sure. You prioritize.
Probably shouldn't be buying it anyway if you think you can't afford it now, but you can in 6 weeks.
Yeah,
either wait. Just wait 6 weeks.
Nothing is worth something so bad that you need to wait 6 weeks. And I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I know that I pulled the trigger on a lot of things, but to my in my own defense, I can afford it. And that's where it's like, this is a job that we do too. So that's where it's like, okay, that's in my own defense. Life is life. If you need something so bad, you can't wait 6 weeks. You probably need to prioritize other things in your life than that put you in that situation. So personally, I'm not going to use it. I don't think people should use it, but I'm preaching to the choir. People outside of the Taylor-Swift ecosystem, those people are suckers.
Oh my god! I actually just thought of an example of where I might use it.
Let's hear it.
It's a very niche though.
Okay.
So like, you know how sometimes people like paying for things just with cash back or just with like bonus points or credit and that kind of thing? You might be in a situation where you bought something extra, like a dessert or a food, or you went off on you got a special drink or something, and you wanted to pay for it without dipping into a dedicated debit or credit card. You just wanted to pay for it with your cash back or your rewards. If there's not enough cash back on that card in that time, then you can't buy it. So it's not that you can't afford it. It's just that you're going to have to use a more official card, actually use real money on it. Whereas if you stretched out that dessert or that drink or whatever it was over 6 weeks, over the course of 6 weeks, you're going to be buying other things, or your bills coming up. Like for me, it would be like my health insurance charge is going to come up, and I know next day I'll get a certain amount of cash back. That cash back in the future over the course of these 6 weeks will actually cover those 4 incremental payments. But if I do it up front, I won't get to use the cash back. That's it. That's my one example. That's all I could think of. I got nothing else. It's like you're waiting for rewards to show up over the course of 6 weeks.
Yeah, but
to buy an extra thing.
My pushback then is that if you're just point churning, I think is the term. You're churning cards like that. If you're doing that, at that point, you're a type of person you would have better things to do with your time and that money. You already got it mapped out. Using a delayed system, because the thing is, 6 weeks, like you're gonna go through a billing cycle at that point. Had it been on a credit card or something, and some credit cards will pay you out after you've paid off that statement. Like the double point city cash card thing. 1 point when you use it, 1 point when you pay it off. So some people need to get to the billing cycle for that to happen. And so then like 6 weeks is like you're already gone through a billing cycle. But again, and this is where I say, here's my niche pushback. I'm a guy who never carries a balance on a credit card, and I use nothing but credit cards.
No, me neither.
And I never carry a balance. So that's, and I know I'm the exception. I just wish I wasn't. But then Apple wouldn't be in this business to take advantage of that situation. So this is still a win for Apple. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
Put it on a business card. If this is like, Marquez is going to have no issues delaying payments, and put it on the company MKBHD card and all that stuff, and more power to it. I really hope if this is the approach that Apple's doing with things like that, then I think it's time we kind of revisit the Apple credit card and maybe talk about exploring some new points or some elevations to other tiers of cards. If we're going to start playing with, borrowed money, then let's go back to this Apple Bank concept. Then effectively, you're all but doing that. You're trying to be another PayPal. So that I would love to see more of that. Then let's lean into that and let's see how far the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's a good point. That's fair. I think I have one last question to end on, unless you have other thoughts you wanted to get out. Or questions.
CarPlay was the big one I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, no, that's an exciting one. There's a lot of potential with that. And now I'm just imagining this redesigned CarPlay. Someone out there, I don't know who it is, but some concept artist needs to take the animations from DubDub of the new CarPlay and show what that would look like on a Model 3 display. Like,
don't do that to me.
Don't
give me hope. Don't give me hope.
Teach me, like show them what's possible.
Yeah.
I should save that for a different podcast. But this is more of a Mac question. We don't need to save this for EV. So, do you think the new MacBook Air is too much? Do you think $200 price hike is a bit far? Because people were saying like once you kind of spec it out, it gets pretty close to the 14-inch MacBook Pro, and like. Do you think the 13-inch MacBook Pro with Touch Bar, since Nick doesn't even want it, does that need to exist? Like, why do you think
the 13-inch MacBook
why do you think
Pro
they're okay?
Is the iPhone SE version for MacBooks? That's what
it is.
That's what that is.
Yeah,
it's a former design language that you're comfortable with today's specs. It has old shell, new guts, and so it's the Mac. It should be called the MacBook SE. That's what the 13-inch Touch Bar MacBook should be.
And yet it costs more than the redesigned Air.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the weird thing.
To answer your question, is it too much? I think Apple knows exactly what they're doing, and they're doing what they always do, where they get you so close. If you specking out a MacBook Air, well, then I might as well just spend that little extra and get the MacBook Pro. This is a refined dance that they got down. This choreographed dance. They know exactly what they're doing. Give me your money.
It is a dance.
Give me. They know.
You're right.
They're so mwah.
They know how to swoon us.
Yes, they do. Tease you with some Craig, and then hit you with the bill afterwards. They know exactly what they're doing. That is very intentional, because at that point you're just gonna go in. I know. Think about it. Yeah. So. Listen, I can't guarantee we're gonna see Craig again for the rest of the year. So I really had to drag this Craig thing out.
No, this is like his only event every year. This is like the only one he shows up in.
Coincidences during Pride Month? Who am I to say?
Right.
We need a new flag. We need a Craig flag. That's the camp I'm in.
There's a meme of like Apple events throughout the year, and it's just the Johnny guy talking about Apple Silicon, and then Apple events in June, and it's like Craig running at the camera.
As he's brushing his hair back so sensually.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's like they are really leaning into this.
Yeah.
But
Gotta have fun.
so you don't think it's too much?
Honestly, no. Not when we look at I mean, I wholeheartedly expect these prices to go up and up. Apple will lower the price for M1. That's to get market share, get people in, and once they got you hooked, they raise the prices. It's no different than when banks are trying to get your businesses with, introduction promos and stuff like that. That's what this feels like. And the fact that there would be so close to an overlap with the MacBook Pro is 100% intentional. So that way that what's $100 more? What's $200 more? Well, I mean, shoot, this one has all these greater speakers, displays, and exactly. It's totally intentional. I don't think it's too much. I think this was premeditated last year. I think everything that's unfolding this year was planned out last year, as what's happening this year is evidently being planned for end of 2023 and forward. So it's all par of the course. That's exactly what they were working on. So yeah, that's my thought.
I think with inflation the way it is, if you leave prices the same, that's basically lowering prices. With the cost of suppliers and infrastructure, I'm like, the M1 MacBook Air is basically at a discount now because they're still selling it for $1,000. $1,200 for the M2 MacBook Air accommodate for, again, this is not made up. Check Federal Reserve; they report this stuff. Accommodating for inflation rates, it's practically the same price as what $1,000 was worth back when Randy and I watched the M1 event in San Diego together. That's about $1,200 now. So
that's
I
crazy.
still see it as a good deal. You gotta. I almost tried to justify getting one myself, just because I liked the color and I thought it looked so clean and so good. But then I was like, 60 hertz. But I really do look forward to trying one. Another funny note here that was a little problem I noticed is on the list for can your Mac run Ventura? There's no Mac Studio here. So the Mac Studio has been discontinued already. After 3 months, it's gone that quickly. Isn't that funny?
I have questions, Drew. What?
I'm sure it's a mistake.
Okay.
I mean, they list... it's got to be a mistake. There's no way they would discontinue. But they list iMac Pro as its own separate category. Like, iMac 2017 and later, iMac Pro 2017, because that's the only one. But there's no Mac Studio listed at all, which is kind of funny to me.
That's hilarious.
They list the 12-inch MacBook.
That's...
I guess they're like, it's so new, it's inferred. Maybe that's their logic.
I mean...
Like, it's so new, it's just obvious. Like,
Oh my
it should
God.
just go without saying. But
No.
yeah, there's even an empty blank at the bottom here. Like, could have fit right there.
Apple.
And there's
Again,
nothing there.
free ideas, Apple. List your products.
We could.
Okay,
We're
Drew,
doing this for free.
I got a question. I got a question for you. I do have something saved around
Okay.
here. You changed your mind about
We're all drunk.
yeah. It's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. Have you changed your mind about the studio display?
Why would I?
Well, no. Just okay. No, that. I just want to
No.
know if you've said okay. It's because it's
Why
becau-
would? But
yeah.
why do you
okay.
ask?
I was hoping you can talk me off a ledge.
What, can I not? I'll talk you off a ledge.
Okay.
I don't know how these things are related.
Oh, the ledge is metaphorical.
Oh, okay. You were like,
Talk me off this ledge.
do you want the
Drew-
studio display? No.
Oh, just me? How about now, Drew? How about now? You got the app for abusive
Oh, my God.
relationship where I'm gaslighting you and I'm just being very toxic and manipulative? Yeah,
Hit the button.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I said I was gonna wait until Dub to make a decision about the studio display. Because I thought we were gonna see the Mac Pro. So
Yeah. Now.
Drew, help me, man, help me. I wanna. I don't need it. I can obviously say I don't need it, but like, oh boy, do I want it.
I'll look around. I want to see if you can get them cheaper.
Find something
to
cheaper than the $200 discount for the going on the the ID.me thing, and you have to verify yourself. Because right now I changed my mind. I don't want the nano texture display. I just want the base of the base. And I'm like $1,500, which would be like 14 or 13. I'm like, all right, you know what? That's fine for an overpriced hunk of thing. But the thing is, here's why I want you to talk me down. We got iPhone web cameras now. I could use this monitor I'm using right now that I'm looking you at, and
that's true. Kind of takes away some of the center stage.
Unless it has to be near a MacBook. Actual like the hardware, and it can't be like within a foot or 2 feet, so this is me just kind of speculating here, but I want the simplicity of the display, and I'm okay with 60 hertz because I'm using it literally every day, and I just treat myself to 120 when I feel like wearing my silky underwear. I want to be a little more smooth in my days. I was just seeing if you're still paying attention.
I am. No, I'm listening.
So,
I'm just thinking, like, now that you can get center stage with your iPhone, the argument for studio display gets a little weaker.
I know. But I still want it a bit, though, because it does have other...
It is good looking.
It's good looking. It actually communicates with the MacBook. I have to do other steps to wake up this display when my lid is closed on the Mac, and I hate doing those extra steps. Cable management is annoying. I got so many cables, and I just want that one. Plug it right in, and you're good. So there's pros to it, but I can't say it's $1,500 worth of pros. But at the same time,
nah, I can't either.
But I'm saying this to
you. Use Apple Pay later. Just pay for it with increments.
Money's not the issue. It's the principle.
What they need is... Yeah, principles.
I'm keeping a face with you, and I'm telling you all these logical things right now. And then when we get done here, I'm gonna be like, I want it, and I don't want it.
What they need is Apple Pay never.
Blacklist me.
You just don't pay.
Just put me on a list, and it doesn't even show up on the website anymore. Did iPod really get discontinued, or just blacklisted because I have an iPod problem? Who knows?
That's what it is. Oh man, yeah. I mean, I think you'd be happy with it if you did get it. I think it would fit your needs pretty well, but I want to see how good the continuity camera thing is. Maybe that will influence my decision. If it's really bad, maybe I'd say get the studio display. But if it works really really well, I'd be like, if you're gonna end up using this, you're going to put your big iPhone on top of your studio display anyway, so that kind of eliminates a lot of the pretty bezel arguments.
Two things.
So,
first thing, you're going to have to put macOS Ventura on your computer, and that's almost a deal breaker for me immediately if we're trying to do it sooner. Two, they don't have a release date for that feature yet either. That's just a thing.
Oh yeah, it could be May of next year.
It could be the Universal Control 2.0, but for our phones. And so I wasted all this time.
It will probably be that.
I'm sure it will. And I wasted all this time where I could have had a good studio display that I would be completely happy with. Because the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, is the monitor that I have right now is an LG monitor, and it has a really bad burn-in. It has really bad.
LG makes the studio display.
Well, this one's well. Let me just preface.
But it costs more. So.
And not only that, this is a very cheap product because it was from the government. So the government loves to cheap out on some stuff. Yeah. This was my stay-at-home work setup back when I was working on base.
They gave Randy Bin Laden's old monitor. Oh,
I don't. I realize how bad it sounds that I just said that, like, I have a bad LG, and you're like, LG makes the studio display. Oh, no. It's
a different yield. It's a different, it's a
different panel
requirement. Apple puts it too. But do you have any closing thoughts for?
1 to 10.
Yeah.
WWDC. It's a.
Oh yeah.
It's a. I'd give it a 7. It's a good 7. It's a 7.3.
I was tempted to say 9, but iPadOS really has ticked me off. So I'll agree. 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's
good job.
Everything
Apple.
else is great.
Yeah.
Just not that. That brings it down a lot, unfortunately. But Craig was good. I liked Craig, and
as long as
I've never been so excited to just sit on my phone.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to
look
seeing your
at it and
recaps
play
now
with it.
about you everything you're gonna do for the rest of the week of you ticking around and what you discover and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As long
That'll
as
be
we
fun.
still have that renegade of a child called iPadOS in this family, it will never be a 9. Ever.
Right.
So Apple, fix it.
Never.
All right.
Fix it. I don't know if we'll ever get a 10 out of 10 again. But thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you all later this week.
Yep.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.